Congress is here on the verge of something that could be a big win for our region, getting a long-term surface transportation bill passed for the first time in 10 years. This week, Congress is negotiating legislation that will set our federal transportation funding levels over the next 5 to 6 years, determining our economic destiny for decades beyond. And I'm thrilled to have Congressman Series, who is a member of the House Transportation Committee and even more importantly, a member of the conference committee that is negotiating this bill as we speak. MAP 21, the most recent transportation bill that I worked to pass, did a lot of good things for New Jersey. We were successful in bringing record highway and transit funds to our state, but it was only a 2-year bill, and it didn't create the kind of stability we need to plan and build major projects. For too long, Congress has been passing short-term bills and temporary patches, and we see the results all around us. Overcrowded highways, delayed trains, and crumbling bridges are costing us time and money and quality of life issues. But we have an opportunity to begin changing that. Congress is currently considering a long-term transportation bill that could give us the chance to build on what worked in MAP 21 and make improvements where necessary. But I care about more than just getting a bill done. I care about getting it done right. The benefits of a 5 or 6 year bill are clear. It creates predictability for our highway and transit agencies. It allows us to plan for and execute big projects. Both Congressman Series and I have been pushing in our respective chambers for exactly that. But if that same bill includes policies designed to hurt transit riders, if it includes ideological amendments that stem from an outdated 1950 transportation mentality, and if it's bad for the people of New Jersey, then it's a non-starter in my book. And unfortunately, a provision added to the House bill at the last minute is just that, a non-starter. This amendment would eliminate the Transit High Density Funding, a program that brings $50 million a year to New Jersey. These are funds that go for track repairs, station improvements, and building new rail cars and buses. These funds support projects that serve over half of all of the nation's transit riders. But because those riders happen to live, for the most part, in the Northeast, House Republicans have decided to go after them. The House amendment strips funds from the places where the majority of the nation's transit riders live, and it redirects it to a bus program they hope will benefit rural states. And while bus service is incredibly important, that program already received a disproportionately large funding increase in both the House and Senate bills. There's no shortage of funding for bus or for rural transit systems. In fact, the U.S. Department of Transportation's report on our nation's transit state of good repair found that our maintenance backlog is overwhelmingly due to rail systems, primarily in the Northeast. So right here in New Jersey and in the Northeast, where most of the transit riders are and where it's most of the transit funds that are needed. So why should we take funding to support those needs away? Unfortunately, the Republican Congress is still waging an ideological war on transit. In the last transportation bill, the House tried to completely end federal transit funding, a move that was killed by a bipartisan coalition. So now they've moved to a different track. Since they can't get rid of it altogether, they're trying to shift transit funding away from the places that need it the most. They're trying to create winners and losers within the transit program instead of ensuring sufficient funding for everyone. They'd rather pick needless fights instead of working for solutions. It's amazing to me that in 2015, the House Republicans are stuck in a 1950 mindset. They want the car to be your first, second, and only choice when it comes to getting around. It's not going to work for New Jersey, where we already have the nation's most congested roads. It's an antiquated mindset that fails to understand the modern economy, in which diverse transportation options are essential for attracting workers and improving efficiency. The proof is right here in New Jersey, where communities across our state with transit access are thriving. Reverting back to a 1950s mentality to consciously underfund transportation would be a self-inflicted wound upon our economy from which our state and region may never recover, putting our vitality at stake. If this amendment becomes law, it would derail the prospects of bold infrastructure projects we so desperately need to maintain and improve our quality of life, create jobs, and grow our economy. One of our region's biggest transportation priorities right now is building the Gateway project. It includes new flood-resistant tunnels under the Hudson and a new Portal Bridge. In order to move forward with the project, we need a transportation bill that increases transit and rail funding, supports projects of national and regional significance, and provides flexible funding and financing sources that New Jersey and New York can direct to this project. The House bill not only fails to meet those goals, but it blows a new $50 million per year hole in New Jersey Transit's already cash-strapped budget. Something like that would stop Gateway dead in its tracks. And if this provision becomes law, we're not just talking about putting big projects like Gateway on hold, we're talking about falling further behind our basic repairs and maintenance. We're talking about delays like the kind we saw this summer becoming the new normal. That's unacceptable for our transit riders, and it's unacceptable to me and to Congressman Series. That's why we're doing everything possible to prevent this amendment from becoming law. Congressman Series has been taking the lead on this issue in the House as one of the House Transportation Committee's conferees. In the Senate, I recently worked on a letter with my Northeast colleagues, and we continue to press our conferees on the importance of the high-density program. We were able to get 18 senators to sign the letter, including 6 who voted yes on the Senate version of the bill, which only had a 5-vote margin of passage. We're sending a strong message that we're not willing to settle for just any transportation bill. We want the right transportation bill. For me, that means increased investment in transit and rail, preserving critical high-density funds for the Northeast, supporting mega projects like Gateway, and ensuring flexibility for New Jersey to invest in its highest priority. We are coming close to the end here, and we are working hard in our respective chambers to achieve that result. And New Jersey couldn't have a better partner in this effort than Congressman Albio Series. Congressman?